can everybody talk some about how did you take care of yourself through this project? And I maybe want to add on to this and your teams, because I know your leadership style, Carissa, and I'm feeling that from you too, Carol. So I'd love to hear what y'all have to say.
Krista, go.
Go. I think it was a lot of like, so a thing that we did not plan for this project, but that ended up being really good, is that there's a long drive from Denver to a facility most of the time. Like, you are in the car for a couple, 3 hours before and a couple, 3 hours afterwards. And I think that those times ended up being very helpful for me emotionally, because it gave us all as a group time to decompress and to just say the things that needed to come out and all of those things. And I do feel like it ended up being like a lot of like just disjointed thought making, at least on my part. But I think that those spaces were really, really helpful for us, because it was people that had been in there that understood it. This is a profoundly emotional process. And so dealing with that is important. I think we also, like, there was a rule that you didn't, even if the focus group got done early, that was the end of the day, right? Like, that you're done working for the day, because it is so taxing emotionally. And just energy wise, because you're trying to manage all of these things all at the same time, talking to these folks. So yeah, I think, I don't know how helpful any of that was to the team, but for me personally, that was a really important sort of like side benefit of prisons being out in the middle of nowhere generally, is that we had that time to decompress and to really think about it. I also was, in regular therapy during the entire process, which is important both for life reasons and for this.
We did a lot of unpacking too. We didn't have a long drive necessarily, but I know the whole team, but we had pairs, and we got to unpack it, and we also would, just a lot of conversations from the staff. I love that we got to get together as a team too a couple times. I really look forward to that. I gotta say, we haven't mentioned it, but this was fun. This project was fun. And also, one thing we haven't mentioned is the pandemic, right? So this came right on the heels of things opening back up.
Yep.
If I'm recalling, everything is such a blur, but if I'm recalling correctly, like, this is just on the when we were starting to get back together. And so we had that too. It was a part of that was just being able to be colleagues. And that was a benefit. And that helped. It helped me. Felt good.
I will say that one thing that was really helpful to me beyond the ability to unpack in the car was, I think our team had an understanding that if any of us needed to walk away at any point during any focus group, any point during the day, you just walk away. You just excuse yourself, and the rest of your team has your back. So I think it's a lot of trust building with your team. That was super important. But then you also come home, and a lot of us live with people. And for example, I live with my husband, and I had to have a conversation with him that was, hey, at the end of these days, I don't have anything left to give, and I'm going to be quiet, and I would really appreciate if you can respect that and be there for that. So having the people in your life kind of understand what's going on, it was really, really helpful to me.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. Like, sometimes I wanted to talk about things afterwards, but I also learned very quickly that I just needed to give myself the space to know that, like, I'm not going to be up for much the rest of the day. Like, don't schedule anything with like a large group of people, because most of the time I just wanted to go like take a hike and process a bit that way, or just allow myself to not be perfectly okay the rest of the day.
I would say our team has a little bit different perspective about going into prison. We're sort of used to it in a way that everyone else was not, right? So, but something that was really beneficial for our team and all of the members of our team was to get to bond with the other members of the state library team and really build some good working relationships out of that, which is beneficial for so many reasons.
It is such a shock to go into a prison from an outside perspective. When you see what we do as a society with, cages and control, it's really hard on a human being to see this. I know human beings adjust and they readjust as they come out, but it's a difficult construct.
Yeah. We would, a couple of times that I can remember very specifically, we would go in, do our day, and come back out, and just walking out into the sun was like a full sensory experience of just like, I didn't realize that I didn't have this all day. And it was like taking your first breath of the day. And so I think, yeah, the libraries vary based on that, but yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you for your candor in sharing your responses as well. And I really loved a lot of those perspectives.